Hello everybody, I'm Miles and welcome to another episode of The Pillar. Today, unfortunately, I'm not going to be doing a live commentary because I've been having quite a few problems with my computer, but I did manage to salvage some of the whole 40 minutes of recording that I did, so let's get started. My initial goal for today was to go find some iron. I set out and I saw the creeper, and I'm like, alright, I got this, and I try to keep my head, and then I fall down and immediately flip my shit. Thinking, well, that's a great way to start the episode, dying to a creeper, but I managed to recover. I went down to this cave that I'd seen before in hopes to find iron. And then upon coming down here, I realized the trip was rather short-lived because I found some right off the bat. Granted, getting to it was a little precarious, but later on I found loads of coal after I went farther down into the crevice that I found. I'm just mining, and then suddenly I get shot. And I noticed that the skeleton's bow is enchanted, and I'm like, aw, shit. Aw, and then I just explode. I'm like, well, that's fantastic. So I get back down there, I finally gather all my stuff, and I managed to kill the skeleton, finally. I go back to mining, and I kept hearing skeletons in the background. And then I get shot twice. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Two of them at the same time. I cannot die to them again. So I'm spazzing. I go down here trying to find some cover. At first I start trying to beat them with a bone because, yet again, I panicked. And I'm like, alright, well, I killed the first one, and then I managed to kill both of them. And I'm like, oh yeah! So I go back to mining after I eat this apple and try to regenerate a little bit. And, of course, I'm struggling with water. It seems to be a reoccurring theme. I just can't climb when there's water involved. Or even without water. So I excavate all the iron that I think I'm gonna need, and I start heading out. And I realized that I'd been down here for a while, and then I'm like, oh shit, it's dark outside. And I hear the spiders in the background, and I'm like, you know, today just isn't my day. And I decide to brave it, and try to go out there towards my house anyway. And then I realize, oh well, there's two spiders. I can't just have one of something. And then surprise zombie. So I kill the zombie, I'm feeling pretty good about myself. I decide to try to take on the spiders instead of just running away like a coward. Have the first one down. The second one tackles me in the face. After a bit of lag and horrible combat skills, I finally managed to down it. By this time, it's starting to get light outside, so I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna go for it. So I get back to my house and I start smelting the iron, and I decide one of the biggest things I need right now is armor, because I just fall over so easily. So I start making myself some armor, and I decided that I'm gonna set out the following day and I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna find a place to finally build a house and start really focusing on our goal of making the pillar. So I set out. I go a little bit, and then I find a desert village, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe I'll have better luck at finding a blacksmith this time. So I meander around for a bit. Realized that this village was generated very oddly, and hardly any of it level. Check around with the villagers to see if there's anything that is worth trading that I might have, to see if I can pick up any supplies I don't have. And about now I realize, well, there's not a blacksmith here. I witness a villager try to commit suicide, and I attempt to save him and fail. But so I proceed on, and I get to a swamp. And I've mentioned before, I really don't like swamps. But I figured, hey, I'm going to keep heading in the same direction, so I might as well try to traverse it. And I'm swimming and swimming. I'm like, I'm just going to have to break down and make a boat. Even though all these lily pads are here, and I don't know if running into them is going to make my boat explode or not, I'm going to go for it. As whenever I get to land again. So I run past all these animals, and I remember that I had some wood on me, so I plop down my crafting bench, and I make a boat. So I gather up my crafting bench, realize that I've taken way too much crap with me, and push the cow out of the way, and head out. As I said, I recorded for probably a good 40 minutes, and for some reason the audio in it just didn't work out very well, and I apologize for that, but I will be continuing on with the series. I pretty much left it here. I just proceeded on a little bit in my boat, and the next episode I hope to find a decent place to settle down. But that's it for this episode, guys. Thanks.